There's no rules.
You have a rendezvous with destiny.
All men and women created by Kody. You know the thing.
So what are you saying?
Welcome into the Detritus. And now your host, Aaron Vaughn.
Don't listen to it. Crows are all liars. I know a story about a crow.
I hate your stories.
I know a story about a boy who hated stories. I could tell you about Sir Duncan the Tall. Those were always your favourites.
Those weren't my favourites. My favourites were the scary ones.
Oh, my sweet summer child, what do you know about fear? Fear is for the winter, when the snows fall 100 feet deep. Fear is for the long night, when the sun hides for years, and children are born and live and die, all in darkness. That is the time for fear, my little lord. Thousands of years ago, there came a night that lasted a generation. Kings froze to death in their castles, same as the shepherds in their huts. And women smothered their babies rather than see them starve, and wept and felt the tears freeze on their cheeks. So is this the sort of story that you like?
Welcome to another episode of Into the Detritus with Aaron Vaughn. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I want to wish every one of you a happy holidays and a happy new year. My son, who's 4 years old, this past Thanksgiving, we put him to bed at night, and he asked me to leave the door open a pinch. He said, "Dad, I'm afraid." I said, "What are you afraid of?" "Afraid of the dark." And we all can remember being afraid of the dark when we were kids. You know, we didn't like it when Mom and Dad would turn out the lights, and there's too many spooky things that the dark can bring out. Noises, creaks, groans. And it got me to thinking about fear. Courage in the face of fear. I don't think anyone can doubt today that as a nation, we are afraid. There are a great number of things to be afraid of nowadays. We seem to be heading down a road of tyranny in this country. We fear our neighbors and even our families. COVID has us turned inside out. They've made friends into enemies because of fear. And politics has brought fear into our homes and into our souls. But have we always been this way? No, I don't think so. Since the dawn of this great experiment we like to call the United States, opportunity for courage in the face of fear has been abundant. We've seen it. On June 15th of 1775, George Washington was appointed to be the commander of the First Continental Army. Can you imagine his fear, knowing that he's leading a ragtag bunch of undisciplined continental men against what would be the greatest army in the world? And we all know that July 4th, a group of leaders in this country declared the United States to be independent from Great Britain. Fast forward, you can go to December 20th of 1886. And South Carolina was the first state to secede from the Union. And on February 4th of 1861, the Confederate States of America was formed. Oh, and a little fact: that same day, the Apache declared war on the United States. Quite brave of them, knowing that they're going up against a great foe. President Lincoln declared a state of insurrection in the southern states on May 6th of 1861, and signed the Emancipation Proclamation in September of 1862. On April 6th of 1917, the United States entered World War I. On October 29th of 1929, forever known to be Black Tuesday, the New York Stock Exchange crashed, sending the world as we knew it into a tailspin. Did we not have fear or courage in the face of fear during that time? Roosevelt entered office in 1933, and on September 1st of 1939, Germany invaded Poland. You don't think people were afraid then? We remember solemnly December 7th, 1941. On that day, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. And as a nation, once again, we had to have courage in the face of fear. And on the 8th of December, the very next day, we entered World War II. Women were allowed to face a new kind of fear during that time and pledged service in the armed forces in May of 1942. And on June 6th of 44, the Allied forces invaded Normandy. On September 2nd of 1945, Japan unconditionally surrendered to the United States, ending World War II. It takes a lot of bravery to admit defeat. Through the Korean War and Vietnam, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Cold War, and the moon landing, all have moments of courage in the face of fear. From the Persian Gulf War, through the Information Age and the New Millennium, when we all feared Y2K, and the numbers weren't going to reset. Oh my gosh. We, as Americans, witnessed courage in the face of fear. September 11th, 2001. I don't think I need to elaborate much on courage versus fear for this day in our history. FDNY and NYPD can hold their own in any light. And the people of Flight 93, they had courage in the face of fear. Where is our courage now? Do we still know what it means to have courage in the face of fear? I have my doubts. Nelson Mandela said, "The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." Eleanor Roosevelt said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing in which you think you cannot do." We can even turn to God for lessons of courage in the face of fear. In Joshua 1:9 it says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." In the book of Revelation 1:17 it says, "When I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead. Then he placed his right hand on me and said, 'Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last.'" We face COVID and we are afraid. We cower and we do not live. God commands that we lead our families correctly in his image. And how can we, as fathers or mothers, say that we are fulfilling this command? We are teaching our generations to do what exactly? Mask up? Stay home? Forget what it means to be family? We put too much faith in government and not enough faith in God. How does the saying go? God, family, country? I'm ashamed to say for many of us, Science is the new religion, and government is the God we trust. I'm afraid that it has actually flipped now. It is now country, family, and we've dropped God altogether. Our families are torn apart in general. We tell our family members at holidays that you need not come to a family gathering if you haven't had a vaccine. I don't want to see you anymore because you haven't vaxxed. Have you had your boosters lately? Don't come near me. Don't touch me. I don't want a hug from you if you haven't had the shot. Vax or lose your job. Vax or don't go out. Vax or you can't attend this concert. We can talk about the election. Was there fear? Courage in the face of fear in the election? I don't think so. If we had courage, we would have saw the election for what it was. If we had courage, we would hold our elected officials accountable. But we don't. We stick our heads in the sand and say ignorance is bliss. We need to have courage in the face of COVID. We need to have courage in the face of fear. Without it, we're doomed as a nation. We will not survive. We're already showing signs of this, and we're heading down a place of no return. When I come back, we'll put a microscope into the Browns. We'll take a look at the new season of the show Sister Wives. It's a show that my wife and I watch periodically. It's about a polygamous family and their comings and goings. But I'm going to take a look into the show as the new season has started and draw some correlations from their experiences with COVID and how they are handling courage versus fear. It appears that the children of that family have more guts than the father. His name is Kody. They have more guts than he does when it comes to facing COVID. And it really is a shame that our families are suffering because that our society is suffering because of this. Have we not had enough? More when I come back.
Hey! I'm not afraid anymore! I said I'm not afraid anymore! Do you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore!
Omicron.
This holiday season, prepare to have the stuffing scared out of you. This year, there will be no leftovers.
It's estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk.
What is this, the honor system? The honor system as to whether somebody's been vaccinated? Do you want them breathing in your face on the strength of their honor?
We're about to go into a dark winter.
Should they be worried? Are they worried unnecessarily? And what